Okay, John Bozzi here, and today I'm going to talk about how to make a corpus of your own work that you choose and what you can do with it. So I hope that's interesting for you. Maybe this will be long, maybe it won't. First of all, you need to use text files. So here I've got a piece of writing that a student wrote to me, and it's just plain text. So this is the start of the corpus, and that's sitting in a file, in a folder. So the next step is to copy and paste it. You can Google Clause 7 free tagger, and that will give you this website. I use the C7, which is seems to have more detail for me. And that's all. I use horizontal, so it'll come out easy to read. And basically just press the tag, and then you can see I'm going to copy that again. I add that back into the original file, and you can see that I'm keeping my normal one. I didn't used to do that, but it becomes quite unreadable. You can see the length is getting quite long, so when you want to reply to it as actual writing, it becomes quite hard to do that. So yeah, I'd recommend having the two versions there. This it should be remembered that this is actually a transcript, and it's not very accurate of what the student said. I used a computer audio and I haven't had a chance to listen to it. So I will though, and I'll mark in the any pronunciation areas there that need work, that affect meaning. I highlighted this one here, that the tagger actually does understand gonna, and you can see they put a 2 here to show that it's actually not a na, which is a nothing kind of sound. So yeah, quite a sophisticated tagger, and I think we are ready for the next step. I thought I'd just read through this, and there are a few parts here, like red zone makes no sense, take food makes no sense, and prison makes no sense. Without listening to actually what she said, it's going to be hard to choose for these two, but this one I think is quite easy, because it says, so every people, every prison, with respect to do it. So this is, I would say this one is person. So then we go up here to the code. Here you can see prison. I'm going to leave that there as a kind of what maybe it is. I'll still check this later. But what I'm going to do is tag this as an error, even though I haven't listened to it, but I will. And I'm going to probably type something like pron. I can't remember what code I use here. So these parts here aren't seen under some views, right? So they'll actually still look like just the word. The other thing I'll add to this noun, singular noun, you can see NN1, is I'll put a comment next to it, and probably just for the student to be aware of that it's person. Now, without listening, I can't guarantee this, and I most definitely will. This is just so that I can show you how these tags work and what you can do in the editing. Okay, so let's save. And we're going to the englishprofile.org, that's ORG there. And you can find in the menus the text inspector, which is free now. I don't think it was before, so I was very excited that they released it. And I pasted my text here without the code, otherwise you'll get lots of mistakes. And all I'm going to do is press start the workflow, and it should instantly give me a bunch of data. You can see here it's saying there's 7% B1 types, A2 types, but some of the vocabulary is not right. Like I really don't think she said prison or red zone, for example. So the other thing you can check is, it's tagged all of these CEFR levels into individual vocabulary, but importantly, to understand how this should work is that you need to choose the correct sense of the word to give it true value. Now, I'm not doing that. I'm leaving it at default because I also go through the text manually as I'm responding to ideas as well. So I just leave it at the lowest possible and then check those sorts of things later. Now, what this is important to do here is, here we only got one word at C2. C1's only got one, so I'm not even going to bother with that. And so really it's only found a few words here that are in the B1 level. So I really don't have much to copy and paste. I've already got tons of A1 words which will connect to this text. The A2 ones, I think I don't really care too much about the A1 and A2 because my students should be at the B1 level. So I imagine these words, especially, well, zone and prison, probably not so important. Recycle, we've been doing this topic, so I know we've got it. And then we've got law. It's probably the only word which maybe no one's used in my class before, so won't get tagged. So in this case, I don't need to do anything from this website. I was just checking if there was a lot of new vocabulary that my computer system won't be able to pick up. So that was just a quick check. So this is where it gets all interesting for me, at least anyway. What we have here is AntWordProfiler. This is a version, and this comes, well, you can Google this. It comes with AntConc, the concordancer, Lawrence Anthony, I believe I just said that correctly. And it also comes default with the general service list of, the first 1,000 words, second, and then it goes into the academic word lists down here by default. So you don't have to do anything to get like a little 1, 2, 3 added to your codes. So after the word school, it's probably a level 1 word, so it'll probably get a 1. Should probably still a 1. It'll probably get a 1 added to it here in the code. So all these codes basically gives you more ability to choose words by level and things like that. So what I've gone and done is I've pressed choose, and then I've got to get my find the correct file that we started, which was called unfinished, and click that. So now it's added to this. This is the user file which I'm going to manipulate, but I'm not going to use these because I'm using my own system. I'm going to make sure that they're alphabetical. They got a 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to clear them out, and then I'm going to choose my own. But before I do add them in, I want to check that my files are okay. So basically, instead of that general service list, I have here a list. You can see it's a text file. I've got an A1, A2, B1, B2, C1, C2. And this is my list. So I've got actually 6 levels. So it'll give me a number 1, a number 2, a number 3, a number 4. So it'll add those 6 levels to it. I'm also considering having a 7th level, which I automatically tag or manually just tag when I see words which I think are way above, or they're too specific to be included in what students actually produce within the Cambridge tests, to be precise. So you can see this is a vocabulary list. Let's have a look at A1. A1 should be okay because I rarely do I add to it after my first batch, since most of the words that we use are almost all the same. A2, I need to check that looks okay. B1, here I might have exactly, this is what I mean. So when I get a new text on a new topic, I generally come up with a lot of new vocabulary, and that's when I copy it from that website that I just showed you. But the problem when we copy things is that you've got these added numbers, which were just numbers about how many times that word appeared in the text. Also, you can do this really boringly doing this, or you could use other programs. Notepad, the one that comes default with everything, has a nice little replace thing, if you don't know, that's worth to mention. So just put in exactly what you want it to remove and leave nothing here because you want it to do nothing there, and then just say replace. Whoops, why nothing happened? There we go. Why replace all, sorry. Unfortunately, we've also got ones with 2 in there, and that is not working for me. 2 and replace all, and etc, etc. I'll do that. So they're all clean now. The space like this doesn't matter, but you don't want to have sort of any strange things going because it won't recognize the word, and basically you cannot put in phrases. So a space here would not show you that next word. So yeah, this is just individual words that it can do. Okay, so we're back now with our AntWordProfiler, And now we're going to put in our level list. So I've cleaned it up and I'm going to choose by pressing choose. I've already navigated towards the folder after pressing choose. And you can see that I've got A1, A2, they're all in order alphabetically, so they will give me the correct numbered sequence. I just use Z so it separates from all the other rubbish in the folder. But these are my 6, and I'm going to open them, and voila. Okay, so I've got my level lists and I've got the user file. You can have millions in here, but you're going to end up working on one at a time anyway. And you make one mistake, then, you know. Now, the profiler is made for a million different things, and there's so many other things you can do with it, but I'm not too interested in all this sort of linguistic stuff as the way this particular thing works. I really love it for being able to tag everything like this. There really isn't another way that can do, you know, to take so many lists like this, run through them, and you know, it's like a find and replace, but from multiple lists, which, you know, is just brilliant. I don't have access to anything free like this. Anyway, so let's stop speaking and press view and see what comes up. So we've got now this beautiful looking thing. I don't like those colors, I'm sorry to say, if you see this, Anthony. And I'll just leave it on small view for now because I'm sort of recording in this view, and I can do that, and I can do this. And you can see that my text is still down there. Now, if I don't remove that text, it will tag that as well, which is really annoying. So what I basically have to do is I'm going to copy that out of there, copy, and delete, because I don't want that to be affected. So what I will do now is press the level list words. So now you can see all the red is level 1, that's A1. Green is supposedly is level 2 or A2 words, and here little mistakes. I don't like this if being tagged. It shouldn't be because that's a code. But you can see the words blue, recycle, 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 respect. These words are B1. So you can see these words are starting to be what we expect in intermediate to kind of, yeah, to make up. And then we've got level 4 words. Everyone, I'm surprised hobby is here as level 4. That is maybe possibly put into the wrong file. So when you see things like this, you can go and double check, and you can also go and check the EVP, which is also under the English profile. Maybe we'll do that later. So next, I'm going to press save, and I have to check. Here it says none, so it will save nothing to it, but I want it to add the level index tags. And so now I'm going to press save, and it will say where you're going to save it. This is annoying. I do wish this one would just save it where it was. Because when you're doing multiple files, this can really kind of make or break your heart. You know, we're doing this many times. So I'm going to save it back to where it originally was. Say, well, did you really want to, you know, cover the other one? I'm going to go, yes, I do. And then I'm going to close it because I don't need it for anything else. I find it hard to work with that. If, you know, I was really excited at first. I thought, oh, I prefer to work here because I've got all the colors and I can change all the colors. But because of this saving mechanism, the way it keeps going to other folders, I've decided not to use it. So there's maybe a little bit of feedback for Anthony. Yeah, so let's close. Do you want to save? Save, I already did save it, didn't I? I'm sure I pressed save. I'm not saving it again. Okay, so I don't need this one either, but I'm just going to minimize that in case there's been a mistake. So voila, and you can see that you have now got ones in front of all the, you know, A1 sort of level words, etc. You've got a 3 has been automatically placed in front of the word, connected to recycle.